Good day, everyone, and blessed be God forever. And welcome to our online session, or should I say, to this recorded lecture. So, to begin, I would like you to prepare for this activity called Put Yourself in My Shoes, or in other words, Bird Box Challenge. Okay, so for this activity, I would like you to prepare a handkerchief or a scarf or anything that you can use as a blindfold or to cover your eyes. Okay, and my instruction for this activity is very simple. So at the count of three, when I say go, I would like you to, of course, first you have to use the cloth, no, to cover your eyes. And at the count of three, when I said go, I would like to be able to go to the nearest door or exit. Okay, so be careful, especially if you're on the second floor of your house. So are you ready? Are you already done with your blindfold? So 1, 2, 3, go. So are you back? Were you able to successfully reach the exit or the door without hurting yourself that much? If you do, then you are very good. Okay. So how was the activity class? Okay, so you can write down or answer no using the comment section. No, is it? Do you find it difficult? Do you find it just like a walk in the park? Kasi parang kabisado niyo naman yung room niyo eh, so walang problema. Meron mga nasaktan. Okay. And second question is, what do you think is the objective of this activity? Kumbaga, ano sa tingin niyo yung purpose? Bakit ko ito pinagawa? Kasi di ba usually, bago tayo mag-start with the activity, I always present the objectives. But this time, ibahin naman natin. Kayo naman ang magpapaliwanag kung ano sa tingin nyo ang objective ng ating activity. So pwede nyo muna i-pause ang video habang nag-iisip-isip kayo, okay? Or habang ginagamot-gamot nyo yung bukol nyo, just in case meron. So in this activity, basically, I ask you to close your eyes, no, using a cloth, or to cover your eyes using a cloth. Kasi I would like you to experience how does it feel to have or to possess a reason, a condition, or a situation that will make you feel on a slight disadvantage when we talk about dealing with disasters. So if you were able to realize that, then you are good. You did a good job. Thumbs up to that. Okay. So the act of going or reaching the exit door is like synonymous to saving ourselves, escaping, evacuating from an area which is currently experiencing a disaster. And if you find it difficult already to spend 2 minutes of your life protecting or covering your eyes and moving, how much more if you have that disability or problem, no, physical disability all throughout your life. And the task is very simple. All you need to do is to stand and go out and walk to the door, through the door, or and up to the nearest door. Then what if it's in reality? You have to escape. You really have to swim, no? Kasi andyan na yung baha, no? Tumataas na yung tubig. You have to run, no, for your life kasi yung building is may possibility na baka mag-collapse, no? How much more in that particular situation? Okay? So, the main topic of this session is all about the factors, the reasons or conditions that will put a certain group of people or the community on a slight disadvantage when we talk about their ability to prepare, to prevent or mitigate, to respond, and of course, to recover from the effects of disasters. In this section, I'll be showing set of pictures depicting people from a certain group. And what I want you to do is I want you to analyze. I want you to continue putting yourself in their shoes. And I would like you to explain how would these people be able to prepare, prevent, respond, and recover from the effects of disaster. So again, you may use the comment section below. Comment down below, sabi nga nila. Okay, so first set is children. Okay. Do you believe that the children are our future? Well, you have to teach them well and let them lead the way. Correct. So again, no, if you have younger brothers and sisters or younger siblings or even cousins, no, try to imagine what will happen to these kids. Just in case they were accidentally or unintentionally left alone, no, when let's say a fire broke out in your house, wag naman sana, knock on wood. How will they be able to, or how can they handle situations like they need to escape, they need to go out of their classroom because there is a very strong ground shaking? What will happen to them after a strong earthquake? Second, the elderly. So if you still have your lolas and lolas with you, no, if you can examine their situation, no, in every aspects of their lives, can they still manage to survive, to save their own lives and their family members just in case an unexpected disaster arrive? Will they be able to go back to their pre-disaster living conditions if they were severely affected by one? Think about it. Next, how about the persons with disability? Just like what you experienced somehow a while ago. If you will consider their, not just their physical ability, their financial and other socio-economic aspects, no, how will they fare just in case they will face or they need to face a very strong disaster? Will they be able to improve their living conditions after that, or at least return to their old life? How about the people who belong to, you know, below the poverty line, the oppressed, okay? Those financially challenged, those who are from the low income families, okay, or families with very low income. Do you think they can they can satisfy their physiological needs? Do you think they have the extra money that they can utilize to prepare, to gather those emergency kit materials or emergency supplies? And how about our indigenous group? Or the people who belong to a certain indigenous group, which most likely they live in a far-flung area, upland, remote areas. Okay? So based on your knowledge, based on what you usually see on the news, no? How will they be able to, how can they deal with disasters? So in the previous activity, what I want you to realize is that there are different factors or classification of vulnerability. The first one is called physical vulnerability, or there are physical factors that determine the vulnerability of a certain group or community. So when you talk about physical vulnerability, basically it refers to the conditions or factors that make a community or a family more susceptible to losses due to disasters because of their living conditions. Kumbaga parang physical vulnerability answers the question, where do you live? Do you live in the coastal areas? Is your home situated in, or let's say a few kilometers away from an active fault like that, or is it located in an area which is very prone for hazards? So things like that. And it also covers factors related to the design or the construction of the building or the structure, if they are following the so-called building code, and they utilize yung mga materials which are according to standards. Okay? So those are the factors related to physical vulnerability. In addition, no, kasama rin yung unregulated land use planning. So na-mention ko na yung land use planning. It talks about proper utilization of land, whether you will use it as residential or industrial or commercial or private land or for government use, so things like that. Okay, so if we continue to utilize those hazard-prone areas for residential, no, or if we continue to convert to destroy our natural resources, no, and build, let's say subdivisions, no, it might affect our physical vulnerability. Okay? So next in line is social vulnerability. Okay? So yun naman, syempre yung susceptibility naman ng sabihin na natin community, no, which are connected sa kanilang social well-being, no, level of education, safety and security, no, access to basic human rights, and of course, information and awareness. So, paano nga ba nakaka-apekto yung mga bagay na yan na nabanggit natin, no? Nabanggit ko. So, pwede natin pag-isipan, no? Yung level of education, for example, sa Pilipinas, no, kapag ka hindi ka nakagraduate ng college, anong mangyayari sa'yo most likely? May chance ka pa rin ba na magkaroon ng trabaho na may mataas or may sapat na kita? May kita na sasapat para matagunan ang mga pangangailangan? Okay? Probably none. Okay? Or probably not. Except na lang kung halimbawa, magaling ka talagang dumiskarte, di ba? Sa information and awareness naman, di ba? For example, if your leaders, no, or if you yourself, no, you do not spend time reading, if you don't even take time to read yung mga flyers, no, about disaster, no, na available sa iba't ibang platform, no, or iba't ibang lugar or offices, no, it might put you on a slight disadvantage. Okay, so imagine if you're not aware the nature of different hazards, let's say landslides. Okay, if you still choose to live dun sa mga hazard-prone areas for some reason, then it will make you, of course, more vulnerable than others. If you experience discrimination, no, maybe due to your age, to your race or to your gender, no, which might affect your sabihin na nating career or professional growth, which will influence your financial capacity, then it will surely affect your vulnerability. For economic factors naman, no, by the way, sa social vulnerability or pwede nating ipasok dyan yung mga certain group na nag-share ng they have the same age or gender or race or religion na posibleng naglalagay sa kanila, no, cultural na din, naglalagay sa kanila sa disadvantage nga when we talk about their ability to handle or to deal disasters. Sa economic naman, syempre, yan yung may mga kinalaman or connected sa ating mga income generated or income generating activities or livelihood. Okay, so yung mga informal sector, no, yung mga parang hindi ideal yung nature ng kanilang job, no, hindi permanente yung kita. Okay, so for sure, they will be on a slight disadvantage. Kasi as I mentioned, no, if your income does not, or is not enough, no, to meet your basic needs, basic physiological needs, where can you get, or what resources or money you will utilize or you can utilize related to preparing or for disaster preparedness. It may also include vulnerable rural livelihoods. Okay, so pag ba merong typhoon, ano bang sektor yung madalas ay naapektuhan ng matindi, di ba? And also dependence on single industries. Kumbaga, kung may area na masyadong nakadepende ang kanilang income sa isang industry, so kung maaring disadvantage nila yon kasi wala silang alternate, no, just in case. Okay? And lastly, yung environmental factors. So nandyan pumapasok yung poor environmental management. Siguro kung walang mga laws related to protecting our environment, or kung meron man, kung hindi natin siya na-implement ng maayos, no, kung hindi siya na-implement strictly. Okay? And syempre, yung overconsumption of our natural resources. Kasi once na na-alter na natin yung overall na conditions ng ating environment, it will definitely affect yung intensity or magnitude ng mga hazards or disasters. And na-mention na natin na merong mga resources, natural resources na nagsiserve as shield, no, protection natin against certain disaster or hazards. As I mentioned, an important aspect of disaster readiness and risk reduction is our ability to to check no yung vulnerability and to strengthen yung capacity. So one of the important activities in DRRR is yung tinatawag natin na vulnerability and capacity assessment. So meron mga iba't ibang approaches dyan, no? Pero yung nakita nyo ngayon is very simple, no? Meron lamang siyang 3 columns, no? Diyan nakalagay yung 4 na factors or sabihin na natin classification, no? Physical, social, economic, and environmental, no? Pero hindi ko na nasama sa slide yung environmental. So, kumbaga, sa second column naman, no, nandun yung vulnerability, okay? And sa third column naman is yung capacity. So, kumbaga, yung bawat cell, no, or row, particular na row, ay nagko-contain ng mga information na may kinalaman sa vulnerability and capacity ng 4 na categories. Okay, so we have physical, social, economic, and environmental. So for physical, sa vulnerability, it can answer the question, what are the structures which can be heavily affected by any disaster? Or what structures or facilities present in a particular area or in your barangay, no, which can be heavily affected by any disaster? For capacities naman, no, what are the structures and facilities, no, that you can utilize when you are preparing, responding, and recovering from disaster? For social naman, it may answer the questions for vulnerability. What are the specific group of people that can be more affected by any hazard, and what are the factors that basically lead them into this situation? No, again, yung connected sa mga factors na nabanggit natin kanina, no, such as yung level of education, information awareness, security, no, safety and security, among many others. No, hindi lang nakalimit doon. Okay? And for capacities naman ay what are the organization or groups, no, in your area, in a barangay, that can be tapped in case of disasters? Meron bang mga grupo na sila yung parang laging nag-undergo ng training? Yung mga pagbibigay ng first aid, yung mga search and rescue operations na yan, no? Meron bang ganun sa inyo sa isang barangay? And yun, basically. Okay? And ano naman yung mga grupo, no, na nagsha-share ng similar characteristics, no, na sa tingin nyo, sila naman yung nasa advantage, kumbaga kabaliktaran nung sa vulnerability, syempre. Okay? Sa economic naman, for vulnerability, who do you think will experience? Kumbaga, anong particular industry, sector, or jobs, no, or work, no, yung sa tingin nyo makaka-experience ng difficulty dealing with disasters in terms of, yun nga, a particular sector or industry. Okay? And on the opposite side naman, ano naman yung mga sa tingin yung sector, no, na probably nasa advantage naman, no? Kumbaga, they can easily handle it, they can easily recover from it, no? Better than the others. Or are there any activities or program in a barangay which help to strengthen the financial capacities of the community or its people? And yung sa environmental, sa vulnerability, meron bang mga probably landforms na or bodies of water na may possibility na ma-alter or masira, ma-disrupt, no, ma-destroy ng strong disasters? And on the other hand, sa capacity, ano yung mga landforms, no, na sa tingin nyo magagamit, no, to protect you against a certain hazards? And meron bang mga programs ang isang barangay na may kinalaman sa pagprotekta, pangangalaga ng environment? No, kasi when we protect the environment, it might help us no in dealing with disasters. So, yung BCA na to, yung Vulnerability Capacity and Assessment Matrix na to, this will be your performance task. No? But don't worry, by group naman siya. Okay, so in this task, you will pretend na you are a member of your barangay DRRMO or Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Office. So, wherein your barangay belongs to one of the poorest barangays in our country. So your mayor would like to strengthen your developmental goals, no, including yung disaster risk reduction. Okay, so your main task or the product nga, as I mentioned, is yung vulnerability and capacity assessment matrix. So similar to this one. So all you have to do is to fill it out, no, to complete the information or to provide the information that will answer all those questions that you can see on the screen right now. Okay, so nakapag-upload na ako sa Google Classroom nito. Okay, so kung may concerns kayo about sa grouping or anything about the task, you may of course send me a private message. Okay, so by the way, the standards or the criteria would be completeness. If you were able to provide everything, no? If you're able to answer all the questions, 20 points, adherence to objectives, it pertains to how your information help to meet our learning objectives. Kumbaga, ito ba talaga yung mga relevant na information? Baka naman may mailagay lang. Okay? And for clarity, kung gaano kalinaw, kung gaano kadaling maintindihan yung way nyo nung pagkaka-present ng information. And syempre, yung ating pang-quality for a total of 50 points. So in this particular task, isa lang na member ang kailangan mag-attach ng file. Just don't forget to write the names of your members and their contributions. Okay, so explain nyo lang kung paano nyo dinelegate yung task. Briefly lang. Okay? So with that, this ends our very, very short discussion kasi parang continuation lang naman ito nung topic natin about disaster risk. Okay, so that's all for now and hope to see you next time. Bye!